You're listening to All Country News.
So let's start it off. I love that you're doing this interview from, is this your childhood home?
This is my childhood home. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
this makes this even that much more fun. So growing up, what kind of music was playing in your house? I mean, what are some of those early memories?
Literally everything. Like my parents are super like they love country and stuff, but they were like classic rock heads. So like Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner, especially being from the South. So it was like we were listening my mom's favorite band CCR. So that's pretty much all we listened to. And then I was a huge Beatles head. Like all like fifth grade to 12th grade, I had a Beatles shrine. Like I still have it here at the house, and like I have like all the records and everything. So it was awesome. But mostly like all that kind of stuff. And that's what kind of sprung my love of music. And then started playing guitar and because of the Beatles. And so just kind of fell into that. But that's what was always playing around here. Just
I love
classic
it.
rock,
I love
all
it.
that
So
stuff.
was the first song you learned on the guitar, I'm assuming, was a Beatles tune, correct?
Yeah, I think it was. I think I thumbed around on. Well, actually, I think the first song was "Heart of Gold," Neil Young, and then the second song was "Don't Let Me Down."
Okay.
So
I love it. So why the Beatles? What, I mean, they were so groundbreaking. They sounded, I'm sure, very different to you. I know, I mean,
yeah,
one of my favorite teachers in middle school would play the Beatles during our creative writing class, and they just sounded so different from like, I mean, I'm Chicago based, so everything that was playing up in Chicago. So what was it about the Beatles that you just like really took to?
man, I don't even really know. I think it was. I think it's what captivated everybody by them. I mean, I don't know why. I think it's the mysterious factor of like, because there's no mysterious factor to almost any artist anymore because of, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the fact of social media and the fact of, meet and greets and VIPs. And like, you can be so connected to an artist, especially in the country world. And there's just no mysterious factor anymore. And I think that's what is kind of rock and roll in quotes. I think that's what people gravitate towards. And it's just so interesting when you don't really know anything about a person. And then you're just so captivated by the music at that point.
I love
So
it.
it's like, I love that. And I think that's what just being a little kid in the country. And it's like, holy crap, these guys look like a freaking spaceship,
Yeah.
So it
I
was
love
like,
that. Do you have a favorite era of Beatles? I know my shout out to Mr. Tomaskevich, my art technology teacher back at
I
Hadley
love it.
Elementary, but his favorite era of the Beatles had to be Sergeant Pepper era. That's, I feel
Yeah.
like, all he
Oh,
played. What about
I
you?
love I like so mine's like 68 through 70 is when
Okay.
I like it's so when I'm going down the road, that's what I'll listen to. When I was young, it was like 63, 64, 65 Beatles, like the pop Beatles.
Yeah.
So I was loving that stuff. But then as I got older and like got into like the Rolling Stones and like all that, then it changed over to like, 69, 70. Those last three records
Yeah.
are like my favorites, like those are perfect to me.
I love it.
But
I love it. I love that. I know it's so funny because and I love that you say CCR and Allman Brothers. I actually took my mom to go see the Allman Brothers revival here in
oh,
Chicago
it's
as
awesome.
a
Where
birthday
was
gift.
it? Where was it?
It was at the Chicago Theater. It was
Oh man,
insane.
that's freaking awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
it
There's
was
so much
really good.
like great music history in Chicago. Like the Dead. I'm a huge Deadhead, so like they, I mean, they pretty much own that city.
They
So it
do.
was. But there's so much great music.
I
Just
love it. I love
and
it.
made.
I
Yeah.
know. So I was reading up on you and stuff that your team had sent over, and I think something stuck out to me. You did like a little residency here. What was it? I guess last year, called the Peach Jam. So talk to
Yeah.
me about how you got from, small town North Georgia to playing the residency named after the fruit of your state.
Yeah. Well, so when I was 21, I moved to Nashville. Always doing songwriting here in Georgia, but Channing, you know Channing Wilson, right?
I do.
Yeah, so he's from the same hometown, and we're basically really good buddies. And he's kind of like my mentor as far as in the music world. And he was like, "Hey, man, you got to move to Nashville if you want to take this thing serious." Because I was doing writers rounds around town and stuff, and just like going back and forth to Nashville, but never really making the official move. He's like, "Dude, if you want to take this serious, do it, move. Now's the time. You know, you can get into everywhere, you can network, um, you can really move the needle right now." And I was like, "All right, man." So moved, and it took 2 or 3 years to find a good community, and like really, I mean, I met my community probably within the first year, but it took us a couple years to get, you know, get recognition and be like, "Oh, okay, hey, these guys are okay," you know. And so it kind of led into that. And then I started working with Mandolin, our manager, Mandolin Monchick. She's badass. She's awesome. And Jake Gear, he's our publisher. And he was like, "Hey, man, let's start a monthly thing. I don't know where we do it or what we call it, but you just jam with your band."
Love it.
Because he's a super Deadhead too, and we were always going back and forth about Grateful Dead and all that stuff. And I was like, "Well, I don't know how we actually came on the name of Peach Jam. I'm sure it's because I'm from Georgia and Allman Brothers fan,
Yep.
but we landed on Peach Jam, and we did it every month last year.
Wow.
And it was awesome. We had all kinds of guests. We had Britt Taylor, Adam Chaffins, Paul McDonald, Drake White, Brent Cobb, Kaylee Hammock, Caitlin Butts. It was just an awesome time. Hayes Carl come and did one.
Jesus
It
Christ.
was
That's great.
it was just so much fun. And I mean, there's so many more that I'm just forgetting right now. But so it was absolutely amazing. And it just made the band so tight. And it just helped us as a band and as a community too. Because by the time we got done, by the time 12 months was over, by the time the year was over, we had a community built. And it was like we had people coming out, and it was like they were coming to every show. And like it was like almost a thing. They were like had like these Peach Jam passes, and they were getting their, stamps and
A
everything.
frequent flyer card. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of like a thing, and it was really special. But we've just been so busy this year that we've moved it to 4 times this year. So we're going to do it quarterly. And we just actually had the first one 2 days ago, and we had Brent Cobb, Channing, and Katie Pruitt. So it was
Jesus Christ. I love that you bring up Miss Katie Butts. She's the reason I have my tattoo. So
no, isn't she?
yeah.
I
Yeah, so
love.
I got to meet Clutto. I've met him a couple of times, but I finally got to tell him over the summer. And he took a picture, and we FaceTime Katie, and I got to tell her all about it. So I love that you include her.
Awesome.
She's like
Yeah.
from another world. But happy, like, what is it, 2 or 3 week anniversary to the new album. I'm
Oh,
obsessed with
thank
it.
you. Thank you.
But I've noticed, listening to it on Spotify, it says Ben Chapman and Co. So is and Co. this band that you have been referring to?
It is. It is. It's
Great.
this band, and we were thumbing around on names and stuff, and we are like, let's just name it Co, man. Like let's just have fun with it. And yeah, it's for my best friends, and we just it's been awesome. So it's actually fun to have a permanent band, because there's so many people in Nashville with like hired guns, and it's just it feels great. Those shows are amazing, but there's something
It's a
about
difference.
connection with your people in a band, and traveling the world in a suburban, and seeing everybody at all times of the day, and it's perfect. But it's been awesome. But yes, that is the new band.
I
So
love it. But yeah, but I mean, for me as a fan, you can tell the difference. I mean, I think a regular, I don't want to say a regular fan to discriminate towards anybody, but as like a casual fan, you know what I mean? You're just excited to see good music. But as someone who is like, just a sucker for good live music, there's definitely a difference. But my favorite off the track or off the album has to be Night Train to Nashville. It is giving me like
yeah.
Lucas Nelson meets Allman Brothers, like shake it up in a box, and then you guys come out. So Talk
I
to me
love
about
that.
that song and why you felt that that song had to be on the new project.
So Meg and I actually, or no, actually, I wrote that with Bo Bedford. Just and Bo's this badass Texas producer. He works with Paul Cawthon and the Texas Gentleman, and he's a sweetheart of a guy. And it was our first time writing actually. And he came in and he had pretty much half the song. And he was like, "Hey man, you want to help me finish this?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he started singing it. And so the idea of the song is about just about being on the road, of course. But Night Train is actually a bus company in Nashville. So Night Train to Nashville is, hey, get me on the bus, take me home. So but all of that stuff is true. Like every line in that is all true. Especially the tripping over cowboy boots line. So like in a bus you have a bunk alley
Yep.
and everybody puts their boots, when they get in bed, they take their boots off. So everybody's tripping over boots literally every night going to bed. If you're on a bus, if you're fortunate enough to be on a bus.
I love it.
So that's kind of what that song's about. But the what caught me was the melody and the
Yeah.
groove of the song. And we we were looking for songs to go on this record, and I didn't even think about that song. And then I started playing it just on acoustic, and I was like, man, this is a groove. So we started playing it, and we worked it out, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite track off there. Is I think Georgia Dreamin' and that one are my two
Oh
favorite.
man, I mean, they're just so funky. And it's so funny that like I connect with that, but then I'm like, Jesus, my parents are deadheads and love Allman Brothers and CCR. So I'm really not that shocked that now at 30, I'm like, yes.
I know. I know we always try to look for new stuff, and then I'm like, I always go back and listen to the same old. I'm like, man, you can't beat it. It's like it's literally there's a reason that was the golden era of music,
Yeah.
and it's like it was just a different time, man. And it's just like it's don't get me wrong, there's so much great new
Oh
music,
yeah.
and there's so many great new artists, and so many great people, and wonderful people.
Yeah.
But it's just like you
There's
can't beat
something
it.
so warm and fuzzy about it. I mean, my
Beat
mom
it.
jokes she wants "I'm No Angel" played at her funeral. I mean, that's the
Oh
running
my
joke in our
god.
family.
Oh, dude, I gotta meet your mom.
Oh,
That's
my mom she is a hippy dippy. And it's funny, as I've gotten older, I've realized, wow, you really are a hippy dippy. So
I love it. I love it.
it's so funny because I mean, you mentioned that you commuted back and forth from Georgia to Nashville, and I had written down here, you know what I mean? What do you have to have on the night train to Nash? Like, what's something you have to have on tour with you?
Um, definitely weed. Definitely. Um, and and that's pretty much about it. That'll keep us happy. As long as we have our music and that, we're all right.
I love
But
it. I love it.
but definitely a lot of snacks too,
Yeah,
for sure.
I
That's
love it.
that's
So,
But we've been traveling around in this '04 Suburban. It's my dad's old work Suburban, and we're pulling a trailer behind it, and it's five guys in there, and we've it's been it's been really fun, but
I
as you can imagine. But
oh my
but
gosh,
yeah,
it's like,
there's always different shit going around in there. So we
oh,
got
I'm sure.
snack, hot, we got whatever you need.
Pass
Just come hang
pass
out at
back
the
a crave
Suburban.
case now and again. Yeah.
Pass back a little case, a little Debbie's. Yeah,
Yep.
we're rocking and rolling.
I love it. So when we got to see you last year in Chicago, opening up for the Boys of Muscadine Bloodline, my girlfriend looked at me and asked, "What kind of shampoo do you think he uses?" And so when I told her I was chatting with you today, she goes, "You got to ask him what kind of shampoo he uses." So what do you use?
Well, I use all kinds, mostly hotel shampoo. Uh, so whatever the cheapest shampoo
I
I'm
love it.
possibly can buy, I'm sure.
Oh my
But
God.
I definitely use a lot of hotel shampoo. And then at home, I what's the green bottle? The green clear bottle.
Oh, a little, is that Suave or something maybe?
Yeah, whatever. It's the Sleek and Shine or
Yeah.
whatever. So that's that's the kind I use. But
I love
yeah,
it.
and I wash it about every 4 days.
Hey, me
I
and
let
you
it
are
get
on the
good.
same hair washing schedule. I
I
like
let
it.
it get good and greasy before I do anything with it. And then no conditioner. No
Oh,
conditioner.
okay. That's the trick. That's the trick.
It's the
I
trick.
love it. So
They try
talk
to
to
show
me
you all
about,
that.
I know, right? So talk to me about touring with Charlie and Gary. I mean, what a bunch of groovy guys. I mean, what was the biggest thing you learned while you were out on the road with them?
I think how to be professional. Those guys are the most professional, have their shit together bands I've ever been around, and they're also the sweetest guys. They are literally so genuine, and they care about their fans. They don't care. They'll stand in line for 3 hours and
Mhm.
sign every freaking autograph. And like, I learned a lot on that of just like me, like when I get done, I'm always like, like was that a good show and everything? And it's like, should I go sign and should I go hang out? And it's like, yes. The answer
Yeah.
is yes. And I definitely learned that from them. It's just like go meet your fans, go interact, go have fun. And they really did. And it was just like, and they took me in. They took and I mean, they're like brothers to me now. So everybody in that band is so amazing. I can't say enough about them. They're the real deal,
I
and
love it.
it's awesome how independent they are, and just like literally they can do whatever they want because they've built this kind of dynasty
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
It's really cool, really cool to see.
I love it. But you are also now keeping yourself extremely busy on, in my opinion, probably the biggest tour right now, the Bell Bottom Country Tour. But I got to ask you, will you ever be caught dead in a pair of bell bottoms?
I don't know, man. Hey, you know me. I'm a '70s head, so I like some bell bottoms. If I could find a pair that would fit, you might see me in some.
Oh my
You might
gosh.
see me,
I
but
love it.
no.
But talk to me about being in front of that crowd. I mean, I've been to a couple Lainey shows, and actually we get to see you here in a couple of weeks up in Milwaukee. So I'm excited about
I know.
that.
I can't wait. That's gonna be
But
awesome.
talk to me about playing in front of a crowd that's probably predominantly women. How does that change up your game? What I mean? Or is it just the same old show you always put on?
I mean, there's some things that we think about, as far as song choice, but we pretty much just get up there and do our thing. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, hey, we'll see you next time,
Yeah.
But that's kind of how we have to think about it. But the tour's been awesome and the fans have been awesome. Lainey is like a sister to Meg and I. I mean, she is gold. I mean, I can't say enough good about her. She's took us in and just literally showed us the ropes on everything. So she's such a sweetheart. But her fans are awesome. They're and the crowds have been unreal. I mean, it's been like, you know, 1,000 to 2,000 people every night, and it's just been like, holy cow, those are the biggest crowds we've played in front of pretty much ever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they interact and they get wild and it's fun. It's been really cool. And we've gotten to meet a lot of people like after the show. So it's just been great and growing our fan base. So it's been really good.
I
Really,
love
really
it.
good.
So I can't even believe we're in March. I mean, like I said, I'm Chicago based and we have
Oh,
snow.
this year's
I'm
been
like,
like insane.
it's great. I love it, but it's just going too fast. But for the rest of the year here, what are some goals you have for yourself and your music?
Definitely put out another record. We're gonna probably do Amber Sound Volume 2 for sure. And then there's some exciting stuff happening. Can't really say it under wraps right now, but we're kind of keeping it under the rug. But I think there's going to be some really special stuff happening with Meg and I here soon, and so that's something to look forward to. And then just being out on the road, we have a lot of shows that we're looking forward to. We're getting to play a lot of festivals that have been on my bucket list, so I'm excited for those. And then if we can just keep it going and keep the ball rolling, that's kind of my only goal is just to be there on time, and 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 play a good show. I try not to overthink things because I'm an overthinker,
Same.
and anxiety tends to
Huh.
creep in when I overthink and look to the future So I try to live in the moment and just kind of do it day by day, and my goals be very minimal, and just kind of keep doing it and all that. But it's been great so far.
Oh,
So
well, thank you so much.
that's a roundabout answer to your question.
Oh my gosh, no, you know what? I feel like half the time I don't really even care the answers. I just love having conversations with y'all, and are thankful that you guys want to take the time to chat. But I am so excited. We will see you here in a couple weeks. I'm gonna just wear I don't know, I'll wear my Allman Brothers Band vintage tee.
Oh my God, come on with it. Come on with it.
I know, I found it here at a vintage shop in Chicago, and I looked at the guy. He only wanted $5 for it, and I go, this is probably worth a lot more than that.
But I'm going to pay you $5
But I'm going to pay you $5 for it. Yeah. So, well, Ben, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the road here soon.
So much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Awesome. We'll chat soon. Bye-bye.
All right, see you.
You're listening to